So I will start talking while you're downloading. So you can see here that I did send 4 Jupyter notebooks that we will be going through today during the tutorial. Now, while you're waiting to download, you can start Jupyter. To start Jupyter, you type Jupyter in the search bar. Or you can look at your programs. It should be under your programs here. If you look for under J. Sorry, that's not what I want. If you look down under J, it should be there. Or I'm just going to type in Jupyter. Here we go, Jupyter Notebook. It should come up, and it will open in your browser. It opens in your default browser, so if your default browser is Chrome, it will open in Chrome. If your default browser is Firefox, it will open in Firefox. So I recommend Chrome, it's a good one. Firefox should work as well. Question? Chrome what? You go, no, did you hear what I said? To open a Jupyter notebook. All right, listen now. Please listen. To open a Jupyter notebook, you open your programs and type in Jupyter. Okay? When you do that, it will open your browser for you. It will open the browser for you, depending on the computer settings that you have. It will be either Chrome or Firefox. Okay. So let's make sure that we're on the same page. Okay. All right, so here we go, Dropbox. So I have to go and find my notebooks. So wherever you downloaded those 4 notebooks, you need to go there and open them. Wherever you downloaded them. For you, it will not be this place because you don't have the same folders that I do. But, I put mine here. You may put yours on desktop or downloads, it may be there. So mine is here. Should be here. And then I think it should be, I thought, yes, okay. So let's start with number 2. All right. So let me make this bigger so you can see. Okay. All right, so the Jupyter Notebook allows you to execute, store, load, re-execute a sequence of Python commands. Okay. It also allows you to include some explanation. So this is what I say. Jupyter Notebook is a good way to start developing code. So that's why I wrote this tutorial in Jupyter Notebook, because it's good for the beginning. However, once you become better and you are writing more advanced code, you should switch over to Spider. So next week we will switch over to Spider. It's the same Python, but it's just a different user interface. Same Python, same commands, same programming, just different user interface. You can see some references here. If you click on these links, it will take you. I will not look at these references now. All right. So here we have some exercises to become familiar with Jupyter. Okay. So I hope that you can follow along with me as I do this. So the way I like to do this is I put my screen on one half. And I think for me to make it large enough, I'm going to put my screen, I'm going to put this on the top half. And then I'll put my notebook below. Okay. So here it says, so let's go step by step. Okay. So first, create a new Jupyter notebook by going to File and selecting New Notebook and Python 3. All right, so what do I do? You see my mouse, right? So what it says is go to File, New Notebook, Python 3. Okay, so here's a new notebook. I'm going to move this one down so I can see my instructions and my new notebook at the same time. All right, so now It tells me your new notebook, I'll move this up a little bit. Oops, sorry. Okay, so this has more room. So your new notebook is called Untitled. Okay. If you look here over here, it will tell you the name of your notebook is called Untitled. Now usually you do not want to have a file that's called Untitled. So let's give it a name. In the new notebook, first go to File again and select Rename. File, Rename. You can call this anything you like. I'm going to call it My First Notebook. And then rename. Okay, rename. Now, I don't know why it's not renaming. Let's see what the problem is. Rename. Oh, it says file already exists. So, all right, so let me call it My First Notebook 1. Okay, sorry, I didn't see that. Okay. All right, so now I have a new notebook. Okay. All right, now, my next step, it says type 3 plus 5 and then Shift Enter. Now notice it says Shift plus Enter. I hold down the Shift and press Enter. All right, so I think one thing I didn't say is I need to click in the cell before I type. So 3 plus 5. And then Shift and then Enter. Okay. So if you have your system, go ahead and try that. Oh, you can't connect to the internet. Okay. All right. So type Escape M. So go ahead. You can do it. It says type Escape M. Can you see where to go? Escape M. Yeah, that's right. All right. Now I think that we were here. All right, so try again. Type Escape in. Right now, do you notice that the words here disappeared? There were some words here and they disappeared. Okay. That means, so there are two types of cells. One type of cell is a code cell, and one type is what's called a Markdown cell. Markdown is not code. The Markdown is your explanation, not your code. But in this cell, I want to make some explanation. The difference between Markdown and code is, you can see here. If you see an in here, that means it's a code cell. You see in. You'll see later. Here there's no in, so this is a Markdown cell. Okay. All right, so let's see. All right, so we have Escape M. Right now, I want to type into this cell. Okay.
Escape M.
Yeah.
Escape and M.
Escape M, yes. Escape M. Do you see it disappears or not?
Escape M.
I want to type into this cell. The way to type into this cell, I hold down Escape and then press Enter. Okay. Hold down Escape and then press Enter. You try. Okay. Hold down Escape and then press Enter. All right, now notice the color changed. It's now green. Green means it's active cell, you can type. Blue means it's non-active. Green means you can type in here. All right, now, since this is not code, I can type whatever I like. I can type, for instance, I can type hello. Okay. I type hello there. Okay. Whoops, sorry, it's blue again, so I need to go back. Sorry, that's because, sorry. Okay.
What is it?
Yeah, because I was in the wrong window. I was in the wrong window. All right. So let me go here and Escape Enter. It's green. Okay. I can type hello there. All right. After I type hello there, then I press Control Enter. When I press Control Enter, it will process that cell. So there are two types of commands. Some you press Escape, and some you press Control. Control will execute. Escape allows you to edit. So Escape, you can say, are the edit commands. Control are the execute commands. All right, so you see it executed. Notice how the type changes. If I press now again Escape Enter, now I can edit again. Okay. Okay, so let's go on. Okay. All right, now I can erase this by in the usual way. Okay. So it's gone. But suppose I made a mistake. So this is the most important key in computer. It's called Control Z. Do you know Control Z? Control Z means undo. It means I made a mistake. So this is the most important key on the computer. So if I press Control Z, I get my hello there back again. All right. So we've reached this point. So we recovered type Control Z. Okay, now look at the next point here. It says press Enter twice, then type this. It looks very complicated. So you type it first, and then we'll explain. Okay. So I'll press Enter twice. It's a latex command, yes. $, \frac, the curly bracket, x_1, power 2, close curly bracket, open curly bracket, x_2, power 3, close curly bracket, $. Right. Now I want to execute. Execute is Control Enter. Control Enter. All right. So as someone said, this is latex. Yes. Right. So if I want to go back and edit again, I can press Escape Enter. So if you're familiar with latex code, you know that this one means fraction.
Yes.
X1, that's underscore. The power is 2, and this is the denominator. Yeah. So you can type many things here, right? You can type trigonometric functions. You can type very large algebraic expressions. So this is a very nice feature of Jupyter. All right, so let me go down and see what's next. Okay. All right, now it says type Escape B. So I have to click back in here and type Escape B. And you see what that did. Escape B. All right, did you get the same that I have? All right, now, so you can see B stands for bottom, or below. B stands for below. So what did it do? It gave me a new cell below. This cell here is a Markdown cell. It's common. When it creates the new cell, you see the in here. That means when you create the cell, it looks like a code cell. If I want to make it to a Markdown cell, then I have to press Escape M. Right? If I do Escape M, that becomes Markdown. The difference between two cells? The Markdown means it's just some text. Code means it's in Python. Yes. This is not this cell is not Python code. This cell you cannot do any calculation. It just gives you some display. So, in fact, let me execute this one. Remember how I execute this? Do you remember how to execute? Control Enter. All right, so there we have this. Now these two cells are independent. I can change this cell without changing the first one. All right, so let me change this back to code cell. I think if I do escape M, it becomes code again. No, I think I have to do escape C. To make it code, you have to do escape C. I don't remember. So the other way to change this into code cell is go to cell, and then cell type down here. Oh, it's too small. Cell type, code. This one's for evaluation. Okay. So now it tells me I can type this now. Now this is, since this is a code cell, it will execute the code. Okay. Right, so it's your turn. Go ahead and type these three statements.
You can say it's okay. Maybe you
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'm just moving so I'm not in the direction. You should get a second keyboard. Right. Right, great. Now, do you remember how to execute?
Shift Enter.
You can do Shift Enter or Control Enter. Right now, when you do Shift Enter, it executes and creates a new cell. If you look here, you can see that the cell that you created is here. But when you do Shift Enter, it will create another cell below. If you do Control Enter, it stays in the same cell. So either one is okay. All right, so you see the result. The result was 9. So why is the result 9? 3 squared. Star star means exponent. So you have to remember, it may take some time, but in Python you do not use the up arrow for exponent. Up arrow is logical operation. You use star star. So you may make this mistake sometimes. Star star is power. Yeah.
These codes are similar.
Right.
They are similar.
Yes. Okay. Right now here it says type escape C and then escape V. So let me go back to this cell, and I'm going to. So you can see the color tells me about the cell. Here the cell is not. I'm not in edit mode, but I'm at this cell. I can type escape C and then escape V. Now, usually you know that Control C and Control V means copy and paste. Now, in Jupyter, escape C, escape V means copy the entire cell and paste the entire cell. So this is a very good way to duplicate your code. All right, so now here it says, here's the next task. So let me go into this one. All right, so it's green now, so I can edit it. And here it says, I want to modify to compute this, y equals x cubed plus 5x squared plus 7x plus 2. And print the result when x equals minus 2. So, it's your turn. Oh, okay, it's his turn. Okay, it's his turn, sorry. Yeah, we can alternate. Now, remember, here what you want is, you want x equals minus 2. You want x equals minus 2,
okay.
and then you want to make y as this. Right.
So y.
Yeah, go ahead. Times is shift 8.
Okay, still the same.
Yeah, that's right, yes. Yes, good.
Okay.
That's right.
Because you are not on your six.
Remember, for multiply you need to start.
It's not a hand.
Yeah, that's right.
Seven star.
Okay, good. All right, now it should work. Go ahead and let's see if it works.
Print.
Well, the print is the same. There's no change. So let's just execute it. All right, now there's a mistake. All right, so let's see what the mistake is. Here it says, now Python is very specific. It points to where the problem is. Yes.
This is the problem.
Yes. Yes, but you see, Python tells you very clearly. See the arrow here? It's telling you, I do not like this. Right? So we can change it and try again. Control Enter. 0. Okay. So is it right? You can check this manually.
Okay.
Let's see, minus 8.
Okay.
Minus 8 plus 20.
Is double. Double
Yes.
star.
Yes. So here I have minus 8 plus 20, so that gives me 12 plus minus 14, gives me minus 2 plus 2, 0. So it's correct. It's correct. All right. So now let's look at the next text. All right, so now it says make a copy of this cell. So you remember how to make a copy? Escape C, escape V, right? Escape C, escape V, right? All right, now I'm in this cell. I made a copy, it's the same cell. But I changed my mind.
That wasn't one copy. You press Ctrl C.
Escape.
Escape C, escape
Doesn't
V.
use control.
Escape C, escape V will copy the entire cell.
Sir, he's talking about the same, not just one character.
Yeah. Now I can just say parenthetically that if I want to copy a line here, just Control C, Control V. Within the cell, you use Control C, Control V. But if I want to copy the entire cell, Escape C, Escape V. All right. Now suppose I change my mind. I don't want this cell. So what I can do is Escape DD. It's gone. Yes. Twice. Because that's very smart, because you may do Escape D once by mistake. So you have to be sure you want to delete it. So it's Escape DD. Python is very well designed. Everything is very efficient.
You want to take your language. You want to take your language.
Okay. All right, so let's go down to the next here. All right. All right. All right, so now you have some basic knowledge of Jupyter. How to create a cell, how to type in a cell, how to execute a cell, how to make a new cell. Yeah, question?
Excuse me, if I want to have that back, you know, to press
The one that you deleted?
yes, I want to.
I don't know how to get it back. That's why you need to be certain.
That's why
Okay?
you play D, right? So the first time you play D, be sure before you play
Yes.
the second.
There may be some way to get it back. Now, that's a good point. Sometimes you can find this in help. You go to help and it will tell you some things. Keyboard shortcuts. You go to keyboard shortcuts and you can see there's a long list of them. Here, let me make this big temporarily. Yeah, see, this is called command mode. So this is where you want to make changes in a cell. Find and replace, open the command, enter, edit. So there are many, many commands here. So you can go to the help and find out how to do these things. Right here I have Control Enter. This means run selected cell. So this is a very useful reference. Just go to help and keyboard shortcuts if you don't remember something. So let me go back down again. Okay. All right, so now you have basic knowledge of Jupyter. Let me briefly introduce Spider, because we will be using that next week. All right, to get Spider, all I need to do is open the same way, go here and then type Spider. If you installed Anaconda, it should be there. Now this program is a little bit heavy, so it may take you some time to open it. But as I said, after some days, we will be using Spider only. But this program is quite heavy. All right, now, if you're familiar with MATLAB, this is very similar to MATLAB. This is the edit window. This is a code that I made before, so that's, when you open yours, it will not look like this. This is the command window. This is some other window. This one you have several choices. You can do help, you can have your variables, your plots, or your files. Now, I can do, if I want to do the same thing I just did in Jupyter, I can go to File, New File here. Let me go back to Jupyter. And whoops, not there, sorry. Let me go back to Jupyter. Here. And let me copy this. I can copy this with Control-C, right? Just Control-C. And then I can do Control-V here. Now if I want to run this code, there's a green arrow here. There's a green arrow here. You can type that, or you can see, if you can't see that writing there, it says run file F5. So I can just type F5 to run. And the result is down here, 9. So you don't get the result in the same window. As I said, this is just like MATLAB. Also, in this one, you have no latex, so sorry. This one is for serious coding. So today I won't be saying more about Spider. I'm going to close this one. So you can keep in mind. We'll see this. We will see this again later. I don't want to save it. So I think we're finished with Notebook 2. I'm finished with Notebook 2. So I'm finished with my notebook, so I'm going to go to File, and I should be able to close and halt. I'm finished with this one. And it's gone. So let me go back to this is my tutorial, but I'm finished with this one. So also this one I'm going to close and halt. And I think I need to close this window like this. All right? So now let me go to my next tutorial, which should be in the same place. So I want to go to 3. Mathematical expressions and assignment statements. That's my next one. So this one I think we can do fairly quickly, because here we're just using Jupyter as a calculator. Now, for me, because I don't want to change my, well, I recommend you do this also, because I'm going to be making changes to this file. I want to make a copy. So I'll keep my original copy, and then I can make some changes to this one. So I'm going to do File, and then make a copy. And I don't know what the name is, but it probably just is copy. Let me rename it. File rename. Okay, it just says copy 1. I think this name is okay. So I'll cancel. So here's my new file, and let's go down and see what it is. Now, the other thing about Jupyter Notebook, once you become more advanced, you can create links in your notebook. So I've arranged this so that if I want to look at mathematical functions, I can go there and I can go to the link. If I want to go back to the top, I go back to table of contents. If you want to see how to do that, you click in the cell and press escape enter, and you can see how my code. If you're familiar with HTML, this is a little bit like HTML. But this is more advanced. I think you don't need to know this now. This is more advanced. I want to focus on the mathematics. So let's go back. All right, so let's look at the first, basic arithmetic operations. Okay. Let me do one thing first. I'm not sure I did this, but in your notebook here, are you in this notebook now? Okay. Is it still coming up? Oh, yeah. So did you actually? Yeah. Yeah. So we're finished with it. We're finished with it. This spider is something. Yeah. All right, I think we can go through these quickly. So you tell me what's the result going to be. When I press a shift enter, what's the result? Yeah, 10,010. Okay. Right now, notice in the second one, this is a comment. So Python will pay no attention to this line. So I get the same result. Okay, now for this one here, it says it's possible to put comments on the same line. So I put my statement and then my comment on the same line. Okay? So, right now, spaces have no effect on the command. Except if you put a space in the front. If I put a space in front of the beginning, then that causes a problem. But space inside the command has no problem. So here also, what happens if I do this? What's my result going to be? 20. Now, I want you to notice something. It says 20.0. That means that Python is recognizing this as what we call floating point. Okay, that will be important later. For Python, there's a difference between integer and floating point. Yes, hi, good morning. Yeah.
But why was it that here it does not recognize that floating point?
Because of the hash. The hash tells it that it's a float. And you can see also that the hash, I think it's a different color.
No, I mean 10 plus
yes.
1 tap.
Yes,
10,000.
that's right.
It doesn't give the output as a floating point. But when it got here,
okay, yes, very good.
Because of one
very
of them,
good.
one of the
yes.
variables.
Okay, yes, we'll talk about that later. That's true. We'll talk about that later. You're quite right. He's quite right. This number here is an integer because there's no point. But this number here is not an integer. So we'll talk about that later. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here also, remember what's the result here? 16. So you remember that's exponent. Okay, right, so, and you know you have order of operations. So what's the result here? It's 25. Okay. And what's the result here? That's 30. Right, yes. So it does the multiplication first before the addition. And now, So what's this going to be? It's 36, yes. Notice the space makes no difference. You might think that it does 4 times 3 first, and then the exponent. But that's not true. It will do the exponent first. So I think you know this order of operations. Okay. Always do the exponent first. But if I put parentheses, then it changes, right? This one's going to be what? This one's 144. Okay. So we can go through this quickly. All right, now how about this one? What's the answer? It's minus 16. That's right. It does the minus after the exponent. So it's easy to forget this. Okay. And then the next one is going to be positive 16. Okay. So these are some things you may forget, but it's okay. All right, now, in all of these, I had one single output. But if I want more than one output, I should use print. So that's what I have here. So let me go down. And if I do the print, I'm going to get this one here. I'll print that. Now, if I want to print, if you put a comma between different items, it will print them all in one line. So this is what we call a string. Notice that it's red. Python recognizes this as these words. It's actually a list of characters. So here I have a string. Python will recognize this as a string. And then here it has, you can see this is the cube root of 3. And then here we have this, and then we have this one. What's the result when I do this? When I do this operation, what will it give me? It gives me 1. It gives me 1. Okay. So when I execute this, it gives me the outputs one by one. Now notice if I do this, oh sorry, it added an extra one. If I do this, do you see what's going to happen? Now it recognizes this as a string because it's inside the quote. The quote will tell it that it's a string. Okay, so let me go back. I don't want that, so I'm going to put my Control Z. So that's the difference between string and expression. Right. So now it's back. If I take this off, if I take off the quotes, it will give me an error. It says, I don't know what you're saying. Okay? All right. So, okay. So that's fine. So everything is fine now. Let's go down. Okay. All right, now this operation is not so useful, but we might use sometime. This is, the slash is integer division. So it will take the integer part of your division. So you can use that. That's not so much. This also has integer remainder. For instance, if I divide 7 by 2, I get 3.5, right? But if I divide it, 3 goes in twice, and there's a remainder of 1. Okay. So the result of this is going to be 1. What about this one? What's the remainder? If you divide 7 by 3, how much is left? 1. It's still 1. Right? And then 7 by 4 will be 3. Okay, so, whoops, sorry. So you can see. I think that's not so important. Now, relational operations. These are actually very useful because, all right, so it looks like I'm going to have to switch out. So let me pause for a moment and switch my battery.